our aunt Amina. Describe her.
She was wonderful. She was completely unstoppable. She always carried a large handbag in which
A carpet bag.
a carpet bag, a great many things. She never liked anyone to leave. She always started scooping things out of her bag. Do you remember when you were leaving? She'd be like, "Oh, I've just got this candlestick, or I've just got this," or. But she knew something about absolutely every country in the world.
I remember
swear
taking
she
a
did.
taxi to your wedding marriage ceremony in London with her. She had her carpet bag, and we were going to the wedding, and she pulled out, like Mary Poppins, a huge breadboard.
Oh yes.
That was in the bag that I then had to carry around the wedding.
Things were very random, and one of my favourite things she ever said was when I brought B round to see her when B was just
Your daughter.
B, who is now 18, but she was about 2, just crawling, and she said, "Beatrice, my darling, please go and stay on the carpet because I'm just trying to talk to your darling mama."
So she was brought up at a time when children were seen and not heard. But strangely, she was like a child. She had a child's imagination, which she had not allowed it to be weaned out of her.
It wasn't quashed. She was not quashed in any way. And she held her own. If you think she came from an Eastern background, held her own, she was just brilliant. She travelled round and round the world. Crack shot. She was able to say something interesting no matter what situation she was placed in.
Do you remember how she would take us like around the Wallace collection in London, this collection,
lovely.
this amazing museum, but she would give us her version of what the objects that were and where they had come from.
Yes.
And sometimes it was accurate and sometimes it was just invented.
Sometimes it was a story, I think. And actually, interestingly, I was at the Wallace collection last week because I still love it and go to it. And when I see some of the things like the armours and, you know, the various things there, I still think of her a lot when I walk around. And storytelling was her thing.
What I noticed, though, she only wrote several books, only 5 or 6. And she once said to me towards the end of her life, she said, "I should have written more books." But I've thought about that a lot. And I've thought she was actually an oral storyteller. She could write very, very well. Wrote her first book when she was 18, 1936, or 38. And it was called Tiger of the Frontier.
And her use of language was beautiful.
It was extraordinary. And actually our father's was too.
Both of their speaking voices were wonderful as well.
But you remember Mina had a telephone voice.
Oh yes, but that was like your darling mama. That was her telephone voice. Her speaking voice when she started to tell a story, just like Baba. When Baba started to tell a story, you'd feel the whole room kind of slightly slump and relax into a sort of state.
No, Mina had. She was. I've got goosebumps going down my spine just thinking the way she could hold a room.
Yeah.
Even if she was making a story up.
Yes,
from scratch.
Sometimes. And she had a very fast brain.
The very best story that I know of hers, which I love, is The Meatball Leader. And about some meatballs being put in the oven, and they were all terrified for their lives. And one of them piped up and he said, "I will be your leader." And and then... You know, it didn't end well for the meatballs because they were eaten. But I said to her, "Is that from the 1001 Nights or from, you know, one of the great Arab collections, treasuries?" And she said, "Oh no, I was just under pressure. I had to write it the night before." And that was fast. You're right. Very, very fast brain.